Before they come up, I'd like to read. We've asked their families to read or to give us a little story about these two people. First of all, we will tell a little bit about Rose and about Schmitty. Rose Zimmerman, born April 10, 1901, was the daughter of Adam and Mary Schmitz. Rose lived all of her life in Westphalia on her parents' farm at the south end of town. Rose loved to sew. Years ago, she sewed many articles for other families. She also crocheted many items in her pastime. Rose liked gardening and had many flowers. Rose married Martin Zimmerman on May 3rd, 1927. Martin passed away October 10th, 1974, after 47 years of marriage. Rose and Martin have one son, Ronald, and his wife, Marilyn, who live on the farm home place now. Rose has 3 grandchildren, Rick, Brenda, and Randy, and 1 great-granddaughter, Anissa Rose. Rose is now 95 years old and presently resides at the Little Flower Haven in Erling. She likes company and enjoys telling about events she remembers from years ago. So if you get there, please stop by and visit her. Now Alvin William Schmitz. Alvin William Schmitz was born November 28, 1905, the first son of John Schmitz and Anna H. Klepper. On a farm southwest of Westphalia, John always said that he had 1.5 dozen children. His brothers and sisters are Alphonse, Alex, Cyril, now deceased, and Verena Schwarty, Werner, and Valeria Wilkie. Alvin married Till Mum on November 26, 1934. Smitty, as he is called, always said he went to South Dakota pheasant hunting and brought back a live one. Till and Smitty have 3 children, Margie Lobig, Fran, Maxine Shaver, and John. They have 15 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. Smitty was in business in Westphalia for 43 years as owner-operator of the Schmitz Garage and was known as a great mechanic. Till and Smitty celebrated their 50th anniversary in 1984 and have been married 62 years. Smitty has resided at the Little Flower Haven in Erling since July 1990. He will be 91 years old on his next birthday. So congratulations and best wishes, Smitty, on being Westphalia's current oldest male resident. Now for the 2 who are with us. Olga Gieser. Olga Gieser was born after the turn of the century on March 22nd, 1905 in a farmhouse just outside Westphalia. Farming was the largest labor force in the United States in the early 1900s, and Olga's parents, Ben and Teresa Anastasi Zimmerman, were part of that group. They lived on a farm 3 miles southwest of Westphalia. She was the second child in a family of 4 girls and 2 boys. Olga and her brothers and sisters drove a horse and buggy to school. This meant getting up early enough to feed and water the horse and get it harnessed to the buggy. They not only had to get their own lunches together each morning, but had to make sure they packed provisions for the horse. The horse was left in what was called a boarding barn during the day, but one of the children would have to feed the horse during noon recess. Olga completed 8 years of school in the 3-room Catholic school in Westphalia. Her family moved into Westphalia when she was 14 years old. One of her most enjoyable activities as a young lady was square dancing. It was at one of these dances that she first had contact with a young man she had seen at the church and would later marry, Joe Gieser. Olga married Joseph Gieser October 6, 1925 in St. Boniface Church. Their firstborn was a son named Norbert, who was followed in order by Dolores, Rita, Mildred, Ruth, Joanne, Judy, and Diane. Joe worked as a station master for the railroad and then for many years for the county. Retiring in 1969, he served 20 years as mayor of Westphalia. He died on December 29, 1988. During their marriage, Olga worked as a cook at the Westphalia School for 12 years until she retired in May 1977. The 2 greatest joys of Olga's life are her Catholic faith and her family. She's been a lifetime member of St. Boniface Parish, serving on the Ladies Group and the Rosary Society. She attends Mass or devotions whenever they are offered in Westphalia and enjoys attending the church fundraisers, picnics, and meals here and at the surrounding communities. She has enjoyed her bird's eye view of the latest renovations to the church. She was recently the guest of honor at a large family celebration of both her 90th and 91st birthdays, and was especially excited to attend the first ever total family reunion in July of 1994, at which all but a very few of her 8 children, 25 grandchildren, and 22 great-grandchildren were unable to attend. She has a particularly close relationship with her daughter Mickey, who lives and shares with her their many activities. The care and love Olga has given her family was evident in so many ways. Her never-missed birthday, anniversary, or Christmas cards, the handmade gifts she gives at Christmas, the way she allowed Grandpa Joe his nightly bowl of ice cream, or the way she always remembers just which special cookie or treat was each grandchild's favorite when they came to visit. But most of all, her never failing to pray for each of us and hold us up to God's protection and love. This is written by her family, so Olga, congratulations. God bless you. Now, George Kaufman. Come on up, Tex. George Michael Kaufman, the 4th of 10 children born to Martin and Anna Greiner Kaufman, was born at the family farm in October 1907, where he still lives today, 1 mile south and 1/2 mile southwest of Westphalia. George attended school at Westphalia, where in the early years only German was taught. By the age of 8 1/2, George was forced to grow up very quickly when word came that his father, aged 38, had died of a heart attack while shipping cattle from Panama to the Omaha market by train. George continued in school but spent his next years helping his mother in the raising of the younger children. All helped with the farm work, which included the cultivating, accomplished with the aid of a team of mules. George has spent his entire 88 1/2 years in and around the Westphalia area. In 1939, he married Marie Stein of Portsmouth, who passed away in 1989. George and Marie have 4 living children: Kenneth of Sioux City, Cleo and her husband Larry Greer of Omaha, Rose and her husband Ken Schwarty of Carroll, and Lee and his wife Julie of Westphalia. There are 11 grandchildren ranging in ages from 4 to 26 years, all of whom have their own special memories of a colorful and storytelling grandpa. Most longtime area residents will best remember George's love of horses. Large is the number of area children who were treated to a Sunday afternoon ride on George's pony cart. There had always been horses, but mostly mules on the farm in the early days, but the mules proved to be especially hard on the farm's fences. So in the 1950s, George sold about 75 head of the mules to a lone Greek buyer who, through his interpreter, had them traded off to his native country. Following the exodus of the mules, George bought, sold, and traded horses for many years before hosting his own big-time horse sales in the early 1960s. This entailed turning the farm into a circus atmosphere, complete with a covered big-top auction ring, professional trainers and auctioneers, along with concessions, and, of course, to take care of the large crowds of people, such a sale of 375 to 400 head of horses would attract. And so the pastures would be converted to car and horse trailer parking lots. And the standard joke around Westphalia was that if there was ever a drought, George should plan another big sale, because that always brought lots of rain. Through the years, George purchased many semi-loads of cattle following his buying trips into Colorado and Montana. In the 1980s, he was recognized for his 50-year association with the Omaha livestock market. 24 years ago, at the age of 64, George acted as the Grand Marshal of the Westphalia Centennial Parade, leading the long and colorful parade on horseback, carrying the United States flag. In more recent years, George has had to slow down a bit. He has had complete hip replacement, but is still in very good health. He lives alone but very near his son Lee and wife Julie Randall Kaufman, who have 4 children. Their home was built in 1984 on the farthest northeast corner of the family farm, which was the Grove area. So George, you tell me.
telling about the Jehovah's Witnesses about a month after the missus died, and they said it wasn't good for a man to live alone. And they said they'd come out there for a month and furnish the groceries and wouldn't charge a dime, and I could do anything on the farm. They could do anything on the farm that I could do. Oh, I said, I don't believe that. Well, she said, Mr. Kaufman, she said, you name one thing that you can do that you think we can't do. And I said, all right, you asked for it. I said, I can stay on this side of the fence and water the flowers on the other side. I said, can you do that?
Thank you, George. Oh.
I just had to say something since George was being honored. George, I don't know if you remember this, but, well, we don't have the oldest person on our farm or the oldest person in Westphalia, but we do have the oldest horse in Westphalia, I think, that was purchased at your horse sale by my dad, Ray Roseman, in 1964. And, well, you might be right. Anyway, we think she's 33 years old, and she's still trotting around out in the pasture. So George was a good horseman. Congratulations.
We need somebody to represent Rose Zimmerman and Schmitty. So, Till, if you're here, would you come forward? And any of the Zimmerman family, please come forward. We have a gift to give them.
Get back to George there. He'd probably still tell you if it's 7 years old instead of 33.
We'd like to thank everybody for all the wonderful things and the great parish that we lived in, and Mom really appreciated it. And she's praying for everybody every day. Thank you.
I have to appreciate all the things that you folks have done and patronized the Smith's Garage and helped us raise our family. We love you, and we often think of you. We always will. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along here,